As a chemical engineer, we all have our own story about the Paris Chemical Engineer's Handbook. But on this video, let us talk about the history behind the Paris Chemical Engineer's Handbook. In 1888, first chemical engineering degree program started at MIT in chemistry under the direction of Lewis Norton. Presented by George E. Davis at Manchester Technical School in the UK, MIT chemistry professor Lewis M. Norton created Course X, the world's first 4-year chemical engineering curriculum. In 1891, the Department of Chemistry granted 7 bachelor degrees for chemical engineering, the first of their kind to be bestowed anywhere. After Norton's death in 1893 at the age of 39, Professor Frank H. Thorpe led Course X through a continued rise in popularity. Thorpe's Outline of Industrial Chemistry, which was published in 1898, is considered one of the first textbooks in chemical engineering. In 1915, Arthur D. Little of MIT develops the concept of unit operation. He is credited with introducing the term unit operation to chemical engineering and promoting the concept of industrial research. In 1920, MIT forms a separate chemical engineering department. And from 1922 to 1925, AICHE develops accreditation criteria. In 1922, the first handbook was published, the Handbook of Chemical Engineering, written by Donald M. Liddell. In 1923 to 1926, early textbooks in chemical engineering is published, The Elements of Chemical Engineering by Walker, Lewis, and McAdams, and The Principles of Chemical Engineering by Badger and McCabe. And now, meet John H. Perry. He is the editor of the first 3 editions of Paris Chemical Engineer's Handbook. He received his bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from the University of Maine in 1917. He served in Army during World War I from 1918 to 1919. He obtained his master's degree from Northwestern in 1920 and obtained his PhD from MIT in 1922. In 1922, he worked for several companies but eventually joined DuPont Experimental Station in Wilmington. He was a physical chemist studying sulfuric acid production, remained with DuPont or subsidiaries for the remainder of his career. While working for DuPont, he was commissioned by McGraw-Hill to develop the Chemical Engineer's Handbook. The first edition was published in 1934 and had 2,569 pages. John H. Perry was also the editor of the second edition, published in 1941, and the third edition, which was published in 1950. The third edition had only 1,884 pages, but because the pages were larger, it had nearly 40% more printed area. When John Perry passed away in 1953, his son, Robert H. Perry, took over the editor's responsibilities. The fourth edition was published in 1963. Sidney Kirkpatrick and Cecil Chilton served as co-editors. It was the first edition to fulfill in the blanks of the prior version of the periodic table of elements and include the atomic era homemade elements. Perry and Chilton were editors of the 5th edition, which was published in 1973. Robert Perry died in 1978 when he was tragically struck by an automobile in England. Donald W. Green, who was John Perry's first PhD student, became the editor. The 6th edition was published in 1984. Don Green lobbied McGraw-Hill to have the 6th and all subsequent edition be officially titled Paris Chemical Engineer's Handbook, The 7th and 8th editions were published in 1997 and 2007 respectively. The 9th edition was released in August 2018 with Donald Green and Mary Lee Southard as editors. Both are chemical engineering professors at the University of Kansas. Here is the price comparison, as well as the weight comparison of all the editions of Perry's Chemical Engineer's Handbook. Well, that's all for now, and thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell so you will be updated in all of our posts. Thank you very much and have a nice day.